And we are live right now, Bucharest, Romania, and wherever Peter is from, which I didn't search before starting the podcast, America.
San Antonio, Texas.
Valentin was there actually last year. I think before COVID. Before COVID,
I like that river in the city center.
Yeah, that's good down there. We were down there last night celebrating Cinco de Mayo.
Must be good, to be able to go places. So we are here with Peter Messana, and I'm excited because I'm a big fan of him. You probably know him as CEO Peter. I know him also as the founder and CEO of Searchspring, which is a really cool e-commerce platform that I want to talk about today. But Peter, thank you so much for coming, and how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you here. So I'm going to kick it off by asking you the first question that I ask everyone, because I'm secretly planning an ebook. How did you get into e-commerce? Because I know most of the times it's an accident. So let's see if it was an accident in your case.
Total accident. 2005, bought a small retail company selling outdoor products, mostly kayaks. And we launched a website. So we bought it in May, and we launched a website in December to highlight our product so that people would drive from further away. We didn't think we'd sell much online. I think we budgeted like $35,000 and for the first year, and we did like $250,000 in that first year. And then fast forward 11 years later, we sold that company off to a private equity firm, and it was doing about 82% or so was online. So totally by accident.
Cool. So you're like I don't want to say this, I don't know how to say this better. So you're like a veteran in e-commerce, right? So you have seen all the faces.
I'm old.
But no, I'm not. See, this is the problem. I didn't. You are versed. I think is that a good word? Versed.
Sure.
Versed. You are very versed in the e-commerce space, and actually, this is a good opportunity for me to ask you what's like, because I'm you and Valentin is as versed as you, trust me. So because I am
Eastern Europe, that's why that's the only thing.
So because I'm newer to e-commerce in a way, I think I guess like I have maybe like 5 years of e-commerce because mostly was SaaS before. What are some things that you guys were doing back in, I don't know, like 10 years ago that were working and are not working anymore right now in terms of e-commerce growth?
Yeah, I mean, back then, like Google Shopping was actually called Frugal, and it was free. So there were a lot of things that worked very well. What we didn't have to worry about back then was Amazon. That didn't really exist in our space. So yeah, I don't know, PPC isn't really, it's tough now. It was a lot easier back then.
Yeah.
Now you truly have to provide some sort of unique service or offering that isn't about price or speed of delivery. So back then, that's how we sort of differentiated. Was we didn't have to worry about price back then that much, but yeah, speed of delivery was a big thing. Now you can't beat Amazon, so why bother trying?
This is actually a thing because this is what Valentin was talking about yesterday in another, podcast or webinar. What it was like, it's very hard to compete on shipping when Amazon is just right there delivering the next day. So if your value proposition as an e-commerce brand is shipping, you have to start worrying about your your priorities in terms of growth. So I'm sorry, Valentin, that I'm totally hugging Peter, but I'm a big fan right now. But I promise this is my I'm just gonna set up the stage for you. So tell us a bit about Searchspring. For who doesn't know what Searchspring does, what does Searchspring do?
So Searchspring, we power or we give e-commerce sites merchandising. We call it superpowers. So if you land on a site and you hit the search bar and you type in a search, there's a pretty good chance we're powering the results that are coming back to you, and we're providing the retailer the ability to augment those results, alter them, do whatever they might want to do. I equate it to the idea of like a grocery store where you're able to merchandise a shelf. You can put the thing at the 5'4", which is the average height of a shopper's eyes. Online, we give the ability to change that PLP, that product listing page, that grid view to be whatever the merchandiser wants it to be. So we're essentially powering anywhere a product grid is displayed or recommendations for products.
Okay. So, Valentin.
So I wanted to ask you, Peter, about this pattern. I've also founded an e-commerce company, and then I got into the SaaS space for e-commerce companies. I wanted to ask you how you've started the Searchspring story, because we understood how you've started your own e-commerce, but how
I have to correct Juliana that I didn't found Searchspring. So I was brought in 2 years ago when a private equity company bought it. So I didn't I wasn't the founder, so I didn't come up with the idea. But I did move from e-commerce to SaaS. I love technology. So it was one of those, I wanted to be involved in e-commerce, and I ended up loving tech. So now I supply the tech to e-commerce. So I'm one step removed, sort of do miss the actual e-commerce. One step closer to the customer is kind of cool.
So tell me about merchandising. Do you think it's, merchandising, it's an issue for companies from how many SKUs onwards from your perspective?
Yeah, so it's very difficult. So you're trying to transition from an offline to an online. So if I go back to the grocery store, you walk into a grocery store, typically you're walking into the produce section. It's colorful. They steer you, they get to walk you through however they want you to walk through it based on where they put the products. Milk's in the back. So, and in between is bread. And they have the power of all that data where you're walking, and they get to make end caps and clip strips and everything. So we try to mimic that online. If you land on a page, we want to be able to sort the products the way that people would want to see them, or how the merchandisers want to sell them. Maybe a high margin item, maybe high stock items, whatever it might be at the top. So we try to mimic the offline experience into the online. But we don't get to guide the shopper. Online, you don't get to guide. You might land from a Google AdWord straight onto a PDP and just buy the product. And the only thing we can provide there is recommendations for other products to buy, but we don't get to guide them. So while we're trying to mimic that offline, it gets really difficult because online, you're sort of, as a shopper, you're in way more control. You're not having to walk through the store like you would in a normal store. And all the stores are like that. I mean, it doesn't matter what retailer you go into, they've laid it out in a way that they want. So
how good? Sorry,
Juliana. Yeah, you go.
No, it's fine. I don't want to, go ahead.
I was wondering about guiding those visitors, let's say.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask too.
How you decide over this merchandising, this product recommendation? Are you using any kind of algorithms? Are the retailers in need to, I don't know, set some rules, or it's somehow purely automatically optimized for more margin or revenue?
Yeah, so we give the power down to the merchandiser to choose. So you can run it off algorithmic. Most of them don't want to do that. They want to do it rule-based, pushing out of stocks down to the bottom, high margin to the top, specifically pinning products in position 1 or 2 on a product grid. It is interesting because people want like personalization, like, they'll ask for it, which we have the ability, but then they don't actually want it, because then they realize that they can't merchandise the way that they want it to go, and they don't like the way the machine. So we recently released A/B testing, and now I challenge them all to A/B test that human versus the machine and see who's smarter, because the algorithm's probably smarter on a sales, but it may not accomplish your goals. So, I mean, sales sounds like the ultimate goal, but it's not always the ultimate goal in e-commerce. You do have margin. You also have map policies that come into play. You might have a policy where you can't show a competitor side by side type of thing. The algorithm struggles with that, and that's where So we give the ability for the merchandisers to override the algorithm. And most of them want to. They think they're smarter than the computer. They're probably not. I just don't tell them that.
You just did.
I just did.
Yeah.
Cool. I want to ask you something. What do you think about the shopping experiences that you guys you can see right now on different websites? Because you're a consumer too. Besides being a CEO, you're a consumer. So you want to buy something, and you go on a website, and you are experiencing the shopping experience. How do you feel about it? Do you call them and tell them that they need your services after?
I get thoroughly frustrated shopping online. Most are so terrible at it. And I quite frankly like going to the store. But yeah, no, I send it to our sales team all the time when I'm shopping online. I just did the other day. I was shopping on a website, and I searched for, I was looking for a cart, and the first 2 products were cartridges, which made no sense. I'm like, what is going on here? Why would you do that? Like, you did a wild card search. Like, that is just asinine. Like, just so. Then I send to the sales team and say, go get this and fix them, please. Help them fix them. Yeah, there was actually another company. If you search for bras, you saw socks. And if you search for socks, you saw bras. So we're now trying to win that customer. We gave them the example of their poor search. And
I hope that's not a pie for you. Another pie that's coming your way.
I doubled down on the pies. They get 2 pies if they hit Q2.
Okay, cool. Valentin, see, this is something you shouldn't introduce in our company.
Yeah, so I'm trying to stay away from sugar.
The GIF is great. The video's better. Yeah, that was fun.
I'm waiting on you to post it so I can link it up in this podcast. So for who's listening, Chantel is the vice president of sales for Searchspring. So Peter, based on his LinkedIn post that didn't need narrative, so this is my imaginative narrative. He says that he was expecting Chantel to I can't believe I'm using this word, crush the quarter sales, and she did. So she went and what's the word? Hit Peter in the face with the pie. She pied him. She pied him.
Yeah, she pied me, and she didn't do it like she was a professional. She actually if you watch, she grabs the back of my neck so I can't move, and then she smears the pie in my face. So
it sounds a bit passive aggressive.
Right? Yeah, she exfoliated me with the graham cracker crust.
Whipped cream. That's funny. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely try to link that. If you post that video, I have to put it. It's I like what you do on LinkedIn, but I want to talk about that later. So you mentioned Google Shopping earlier. So I think it was called Listings before it was called as you said it was called. And I discovered the other day that a lot of people don't use Google Shopping as it is right now. But a lot of I'm talking about brands. Brands don't use that. They don't optimize for Google Shopping. But consumers, if they're looking for a pair of sneakers online, they will go and click the tab for Google Shopping. And I noticed that the products that are prioritized are the ones that have identification, the unique identification of a product. So I'm assuming when people or like brands use Searchspring, you guys optimize for that type of search too, right?
Yeah.
When the how do you call like there's like the specific product identification and SKUs.
Yeah, if you search for a SKU, yeah, we would return just that product back up to the top.
Yeah. I think a lot of brands don't understand, I guess the algorithm of Google and how things are prioritized when it comes to search. Like, I think it's a slept-on thing, merchandising, and I don't hear too many people talk about this other than Rishi. You probably know Rishi, the product guy. He's he besides you and him, I don't know other people that are actually talking about much stuff in this space. So that's why I wanted to talk more about product pages, if I may. I know shopping online is frustrating, but do you think people utilize the product page as they should to its full extent? Because I think the product page, in my opinion, from customer experience perspective, it should be like telling a story. Like it should be helping you to make a decision.
Yeah, there's there's a conundrum you face with the PDP. And when I was in retail, we faced it. One is you want the fastest ability to add it to the cart. Like if I land there and that's what I want, I don't want to go through any hassle of any sort. Then the second part is all the information for the person who wants the information. So I'm a big believer in descriptions. True written descriptions, not just copied from the vendor. Vendor provides terrible descriptions of their products. And stuff that you want to learn about, and that's so the online retailer was austinkayak.com, and the site looks nothing or is nothing like what it was. So I can't speak to the last 4 years of what they've done, but prior to that, it was always about building, experts. So to be an expert, so how do you compete against Amazon is essentially what we were trying to figure out, or anybody. And then it was to become a true expert in the space. And be a domain authority for it, not domain authority as in like the URL, but truly understand and be the authority. So provide all the information on the PDP for that product, as well as relevant cross-sells to it, which is what Searchspring's technology can do on the cross-sells is true recommended products, not crappy, like I want you to buy this, but you actually want to buy this. There's two different things there. What the customer wants to buy versus what the retailer wants to sell them.
It's true. It's true. And a lot of times the retailer doesn't know what the customer wants to buy. It's just, I mean, most of the times they don't, because I don't think they care, That's like, if there's one thing that e-commerce companies, the direct-to-consumer companies could have taken from Amazon was what they're doing right, which is the convenience, which is the great experience that they have. Instead, they just took the mentality that I gotta sell. Like, I don't care who's buying, I'm selling right now. Like, just 20% off, you go and buy this. So it's sad. It's really sad. And like, I don't want to go on a negative note. I mean, the purpose of this podcast is, of course, to talk about e-commerce, but I also want to talk more about you and who you are, because I think that's super interesting. So on LinkedIn, you have created this, I hate myself for saying this, personal branding. Because my opinion about it, but you have created like a community around you, and you have this hashtag which is CEO Peter, and basically you're sharing a lot of learnings about leadership, about how you're managing your teams and how you're approaching stuff. You're not usually, and I think, again, you and Valentina are the few exceptions. Like when you see a CEO of a SaaS company, they're always posting about their product, the company updates, and that's it. But they don't show their personality. So how did you get started on LinkedIn? Like, how did you start, sharing more about you and your day-to-day? Because you have a lot of amazing content.
Yeah, I think I was just bored one day. And I have to give the credit, the CEO Peter hashtag came out of a guy, CEO Adam. And I was like, how do I create a hashtag? He's like, you just type it. And I was like, oh, wow, that's easy. So I copied him. I was not original, which I'm typically not original in anything. I just copy good people. But yeah, no, I was kind of bored and I decided I'd start sharing. And I don't post about the company very much at all. And I get asked all the time, why don't I? And it's like, well, because it should speak for itself. Like I don't know. I don't want to be an advertisement, a walking commercial all the time. And really, I'd rather people understand like how I lead or what I think, or at least how I think I should lead. That some might challenge me whether or not I do as I say. So we won't ask my team. Yeah, I like sharing interesting things. So I only share on whims. I don't pre-schedule anything. I don't think about anything. It's just like, I feel like, I had a moment, and then I go share it. So if I don't have a moment, I don't share anything. So that's just sort of the way it goes. But yeah, I link it back to boredom.
I think boredom is really, really underrated, because boredom really does make you do a lot of things which can become productive and successful out of boredom. And we actually have this poet in Romania that was talking about this. Valentin, you probably know him, Nikita Stănescu, and he was talking about boredom, and out of boredom, a lot of things, might come to fruition. So let's talk a bit about leadership, and I want to challenge both of you and Valentin here to a leadership off. So because it's kind of cool to me. So what type of leaders you guys? I mean, I know for Valentin, but what type of leaders you guys are? What type of leaders you were, and where do you want to go? And this is a question for both, but I'm gonna let Peter start because he's the guest.
I'll start with what kind I was. I was a terrible one. I was angry, screaming, throwing things.
Sound like my son.
Yeah, but I was like probably 30, so it's probably not appropriate. No, then I grew up. Now I'm pretty hands off. Let the team do what they're hired to do. Give them a goal and let them go for it. Try not directing too much. There's the directing versus suggesting. So try to suggest things and let them go versus telling them what to do, which is super frustrating to watch sometimes, but that's a different story. Sometimes I just want to tell them because it's really easy and they're making it really difficult. But you let them do it. So yeah, now I joke, but I mean it. Like my job is to hire great people and do nothing. Yeah. I haven't fully made it there. So not that all of my hires aren't great, but I still do some stuff.
So for you, the secret of leadership is actually scaling outside yourself, but doing it with amazing people that, get it, so you don't have to do nothing.
Well, yeah, I mean, in reality, at any time, if you hire somebody, you better hire somebody who's smarter at whatever you're hiring them to do than you are. So, like my CMO I hired, he better be better at marketing than me. Otherwise, there's a big problem. And I'm not very good at sales. So Chantel's got that in the bag. So, but yeah, no, it is. You hire great people and they can do great things.
I agree. So what about you, Valentin? What type of CEO you are? What type of CEO you were? And leader that you want to be?
Okay, so I think we're somehow alike, and that's the path. I recall when I've been really attached about the results, and I was pouring a lot of time into working and hitting those numbers, neglecting who do I have beside me, and that was because my attachment. I mean, we're all in this life game where we are attached to a brighter future. But the trick here is to detach yourself from the outcomes so that you can see things how they are, not how you've planned them to be. And I think a lot of people in control positions are forgetting the fact that they are also human beings and they are broken, completely broken, and we are like puzzles, I mean, we still find our way, and I think this job is a never-ending story. Even though we have our personas, even though we have this mask that everything is going great and that we've achieved this and the other, deep inside, we're unsettled and we are always looking for a new external challenge so that we validate the fact that we are worthy and we are lovable and we're okay, let's say. And this internal game is amplified if you're in a control position, because you can see people outside yourself doing the shit that you're actually doing within yourself, and it's pretty amazing that you're attracting who you are. And I recall that I've been so attached about the results that my former teams, I'm crafting companies since 2001. I've seen that a lot of people around me were exactly like I was, and in this, thank God that I had this habit of meditating and journaling, so that I could see in the evening who I've just ended up being during the day. And thanks to this habit, I realized how shitty I was, and mainly I've started to put some distance between my dreams and my hopes and my aspirations, because as a leader, let's say you are carving a new path through the jungle, and you have this vision, let's say, this urge, this attraction towards something that it's different than it is today. And if you are authentic in your passion, and if you detach yourself from the result, but actually enjoy the presence of other people, which are not, they are employees, so they don't have this aspiration to craft or to achieve this quota or this outstanding results. They are even better human beings than the leaders are, because they are more stable, more humble, and they have a lot of things to share with you as the guru or leader. And when you realize this, when I realized it in my own life, I've started to understand that every person which is around me is doing me a huge favor, because they are following me in this crazy adventure towards freaking nowhere land. I mean, there is so much uncertainty when you are building a company or when you are getting your team towards this goal. I mean, nobody knows anything about life. I mean, we're born here, we are following the advices of the grown-ups. We think that we will reach some outstanding states, but at the end, the game is over, and that's it. We've just been old, and we can end up being pointless. I mean, it's that great story from Clay Christensen. How will you measure your life? You know, he's a fantastic leader. He wrote these books, these bestsellers. He advised top companies, and at the end of, in the latter part of his life, he realized that all these numbers were pointless. I mean, the true value is building authentic relationships and being helpful to the ones around you. And that's the kind of leader that I aspire to become, but it's freaking hard. And when
Ever since he hired me.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's freaking hard because you have this person within yourself to score. You know, you have this leaderboard, and you need to score. You need to outperform all these milestones, but you also need to cope with people's feelings, with their aspirations, with the fact that they have these moods, and it's not like you could hire machines to hit those numbers. And
well, you hit it when you said there's humans. That's the part that most people forget, that we have to manage humans, and humans have emotions, and robots don't. And if your decisions are based on like logic, you will fail miserably because emotions of the humans will take over. So a logical move in an organization suddenly becomes like an ordeal because there's an emotion that gets attached to it. I actually think emotional intelligence is probably the most underrated thing out there. Super intelligent people struggle. I struggled with emotions. Even the other night, I drafted a message I wanted to send to my senior leadership team, and I decided to sit on it for the night. Normally, I would have just sent it, and I ended up not sending it at all, and instead had conversations with the couple individuals I needed to talk to. But that's the part where like you have to pause and deal with like, is the emotional reaction proper to the intelligent reaction?
Yeah.
Have issues with that all the time.
Yeah, this ability to stop and to rethink, it's a never-ending endeavor. Or I don't know, there are these Buddhist monks or these characters in the movies, like it was in Kung Fu Panda, Shifu, right? That guy with the inner peace. So
Shifu.
yeah.
From everyone you could have chosen, Valentin.
I don't remember that one, so I'll just go with it.
It was Master Shifu from Kung Fu Panda. It was that he was like impersonating Yoda, but it was in that
Cartoons.
combination. See, Peter, you gotta watch cartoons, man.
Yeah.
Like, so what are my chances for becoming a CEO? Because I was hearing
slim to none. I mean, let's just be real. Well, I mean, first off, I mean, it's a very narrow pyramid. So there's less and less opportunity as you go up. But yeah, I think Valentino needs to die and you can take his place. Maybe we can do it that way. I guess that's kind of rough though.
God, I hope not.
You could take mine, but I'm not really going anywhere either.
Who I like from your team? She's from Australia. One second, that I forgot her name right now. Yes, I like her. She's so cool. I mean, I like everyone from your team. I just want to congratulate you right now on live LinkedIn, because I was about to say on live TV. I want to congratulate you on live LinkedIn, that I think you have the most, besides us, I think you have the most female employees, which I think is fucking amazing, because females are so underrepresented in this industry. And in your company, I swear I haven't seen so many amazing females in the same spot. And I want to tell you, I want to just ask you, are you okay? Are you okay with, like, I just want to congratulate you, because I think it takes a lot of balls to surround yourself with so many women that are clearly smarter than men. And I think I'm sorry, it's real. But yeah, I just want to congratulate you. I was researching, the type of inclusion that most companies have in e-commerce, and is barely any. And Valentin has the same problem, because there's more women in OmniConvert than men. But I think I want to ask you guys, like, are we really smarter than you guys? And you should say yes, because you're live right now. So I'm waiting.
Oh, absolutely. Sure.
By far, yeah. I mean, emotional intelligence, it's something that we don't master yet, but mainly this is a skill that we have to train. And how else to get outstanding training than being surrounded by ladies?
Exactly. Good answer.
Yeah, we're right around 35%, which in technology is pretty freaking high. There's not a lot of women in tech in general. So
yeah, I think it's amazing, and I want to congratulate you for that, because I think I'm connected with mostly everyone that works for you. And yeah, I think you guys are doing an amazing job on giving more women space to shine, and I think it's needed. And I think a lot of technology companies, e-commerce or whatever, should look at you for doing this. And I also want to ask you right now, have to be fun. So tell me, Peter, what are like the biggest 3 fuck-ups you did since you're being the CEO of Searchspring?
None.
Exactly. Come on. It has to be some, like, the reason why I'm asking this question, I'm not trying to be funny.
It's to embarrass you.
Nah, I mean, but
I love Peter.
Everything's perfect. Why would I have made any fuck ups? I mean, come on.
No, I want to ask you this, because a lot of people on social media tend to associate, what they see, only the exterior with what it is, but they don't think that behind the job, whatever the job is, especially you guys, as being in the leadership of a company, they don't understand that even if on social media everything is nice and positive and polished, like behind, you actually might go through a lot of stuff to get where you are. So a lot of people I know, because they're in your comment section, a lot of times I see that they look up to you. So the reason why I'm asking you what are some fuck-ups that you did is just that I want to show them that even if if you go through stuff, you can still, emerge, better at the end of it, because there's no mistakes. There's just lessons, if you want to look at them like that.
Well, yeah, I don't know my biggest fuck-up, but you are absolutely right. I call it Instagram life. Like, everybody posts only the pretty things.
Yeah.
Going on around them. They don't post the shitty things going around them. My buddy shared a picture one time. It was like an Instagram picture, and then he zoomed out, and it was like this really pretty picture of like a lime with like a tumbler and ice in the tumbler, and it looked like he was about to make a drink. And then he posted the zoomed out picture, and it was like all the kids' shit all over the floor, like behind him. And it was like Instagram versus real life. And I think online most people are fake. I try to be as real as possible. I do share a lot of things that people are surprised I share. I do have a lot of people who try to call me out on things. It's really bizarre. But I share all the time. I'm ADHD. The fact that I've stared at the screen for 35 minutes is painful.
I'm sorry.
But it's you both are lovely. It's just my attention span is terrible, and I have dyslexia, and reading sucks. I hate reading. I don't read books. Why don't I read books? Because it's difficult. Why don't I listen to books on tape or Audible? Because my ADHD then kicks in and I don't pay attention. I realize I've been listening for 30 minutes, but I have no idea what was just said. So
I relate a lot to that.
So yeah, I don't read a lot. Pictures are great. If you can put a book in a picture, you got me. Or a quick blog, like one paragraph. So I blog every week, and I put an asterisk next to that. I missed this week.
And you are like Taylor Swift's biggest fan, possibly.
I am, but I'm not. I was not this. My daughter, when I went home, it was like last week. She's like, "Oh, you came home. You're not the stalker who was arrested." So I've got that going for me. So apparently some stalker was arrested last week. So it wasn't me.
Oh my God.
But yes,
good to know. Good to
and I've shared a lot of Taylor. She's got hidden management nuggets in her songs. She doesn't know it, but I call them out. She has no idea. She wrote about an ex-boyfriend. I heard a management thing. I don't know.
Sorry, I'm just laughing because it's fucking funny. Your daughter said you're not the stalker. Sorry.
Yeah, it was earlier. So it was like last Wednesday or Thursday. I came home. She's like, "Oh, good, Dad. You came home. You're not the stalker." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Some stalker of Taylor was arrested today." So anyway, I do love her. Her music is wonderful. And I do post about it quite a bit.
Too much. I never even listened to her until you started posting. I was like, man, if Peter likes her, it must be something to this person that I should be, looking into.
So I need to get some royalties.
You should. You definitely should. Oh my God. But listen, I totally relate with I'm reading like 7 books at the moment, all of them at the same time. And if I start reading, I start thinking about stuff, and I just like completely forget everything that I read, and then I start doing stuff like nothing ever happened. And but neurodivergent people are awesome. They're awesome. We are awesome. And you know what? That's cool. I like that. So I wanna ask you one for me, because Valentin, you know what? I'm sorry, man. I was just too excited. I forgot. So Valentin, please, your stage is yours. I'm done.
But why do you stop? No, continue. I haven't got anything to ask.
Perfect. So I wanted to ask you, Peter, like when because I live on LinkedIn too a lot. So I wanna ask you, like, are you frustrated sometimes when like I get frustrated all the time on LinkedIn when like I work a lot to provide great content that's not boring and it's educational as well, because it takes a lot of to write something good when it comes to you. So then I get frustrated when I see someone posting the dumbest shit when it comes to e-commerce, like, yeah, just send this discount campaign and change the headline in the email, score, save this post. And then you're like, I'm here talking about cognitive dissonance. It's like, why? Like, this is what I hate about social media. Like, I love LinkedIn. There's some people that I really like. There's some boring people as well. But like, it's frustrating to me as the more you use social media, like probably to discharge all these energies, is like, you get frustrated because the bullshit is pushed further than the quality content. So do you ever get that frustration too? Because I'm sure a lot of people that I see on LinkedIn right now watching are relating to that.
Yeah, I try to ignore it. I laugh at a lot of people's posts, and I don't laugh in like that they're funny posts. I laugh in what they're attempting to do. I laugh when you mock them. That actually is the best. And I should post something like, "The sky's not blue. What do you think?" And like some stupid thing like that.
Or agree.
Yeah. I think actually what's most frustrating about LinkedIn is I haven't quite finished like an A/B test study on this, but hate is loved more than love is loved. So I did a post about recruiters, and recruiters are terrible, and any recruiter that hears this, that's fine. You can hear it. I hate most recruiters.
Sorry, Greg.
But I posted about it, and like next thing I know, it's like 500,000 views, and then that opened up a whole wormhole of spam connection requests, where then I had to shut off the ability to connect with me. And I was like, this whole algorithm is all messed up. I post hate, which gets a lot of love, then gets a lot of spam, and now I got to shut things down and disappear and try and hide. Because I don't know what keywords that triggered. But yeah, most of the time I laugh at people. I'm laughing at them, not with them.
Peter, you said that you hate recruiters. How do you recruit? What's part of the growth of any company, e-commerce or SaaS?
We don't use recruiters. We do have one. We have an internal recruiter, but we don't pay external recruiters. No, so honestly, how we recruit is a lot of my LinkedIn is doing great recruiting, and referrals. So once we get the engine running and get a bunch of people hired on, they started referring like crazy. So we have a massive amount of referral, and we have an awesome culture. It's not mine, it's my entire team's. We built an amazing culture that people just want to work here. They seek us. So I think it's interesting. I watch it that I have more people wanting to work for us than I have jobs available. So I don't need recruiters. And that's just a function of my team being out there and being who they are and hiring great people who then want to, advertise how great it is and come work here. So it sort of, it's like a flywheel, just sort of spinning.
How did you get your team to be so active on social media? Because everyone from your company is like...
They're not enough.
The ones I'm connected to are like super. Kate especially, like she has a great content.
Yeah, no, nothing's forced. We actually created an internal channel, like LinkedIn ideas or something, and I on Slack, and I actually archived it the other day because it wasn't being used. I didn't want. I told people I don't want to tell them to go post. Like, if you want to post. If it's contrived content, it's worthless content. So if they want to do it, great. It just happens they like doing it. They like sharing things. They like sharing stories. A lot of them post, like Kate posts a lot about the product and about deals closed and whatnot. That's fine. I don't post that way, but I don't tell anybody what to do, and they can do whatever they want.
I just saw you guys just got a prize from Nora Awards, those in Australia. I think you just got a prize. Congrats for that. It was awesome to see you there. I went and voted for some people. Of course, I got you, all the time.
Well, thank you. We won by 1 vote, so it was you. I don't know if it was 1 vote, but we pretend.
It was half a vote, maybe. No, I saw, because I have a lot of friends in Australia, and that's how I met Kate, through someone that I knew from Australia and New Zealand. And I just think like a big part of the culture is also back to Valentin's question with recruiting. I think it's bad if you it's too bad if you have a great company culture but you don't show it to the world, so it can bring people in. And I know that you and Valentin are both I probably agreeing with one thing, because both of you like to have the team in the office more than it's at home. And I saw the smiles at the same time. Epic.
Well, there's nothing can be replaced. The collaboration cannot be replaced over video. And if you just take a meeting, so take a meeting of 10 people in an office, somebody's talking, 2 people are on the corner, they're having a sidebar, probably about the meeting, hopefully, coming up with an idea like, hey, have we ever thought about blah, blah, blah? And then they rejoin the meeting, and the meeting goes on, and they add that in. And all those side conversations and talking on top of each other can't happen on video. Video's like one way. it's very difficult to talk over top of somebody. And you can't have two people talking to each other while somebody's presenting. That just doesn't work. You can slack each other on the backside. And then when the meeting's over, if you just watch people, like half them leave and the other half sit around talking about things, typically work related. So you can't mimic that. That's number one. Number two is trust. You can't build trust if you can't hang out. And then number three is like that water cooler talk. So I call this the fuck off time. So people fuck off all the time in the office. Like you're lucky you get like 6 hours out of somebody. That's like probably stellar. They're probably more like 5 hours of work. So that time in between at the office is, your what I call fuck off time, is you're talking with like other employees and you're getting to know them. You're personally getting to know them. You're building trust, and you're probably also talking about work. Now at home, in between the Zoom meetings, where that 30 minutes that you have, you go like pick weeds or put dishes in the dishwasher.
Dishes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it's not the same. There's no team building. There's nothing going on. So that's the part that gets missed. And some people are very good at remote work and understand it and can find their way into the conversation. But for a majority of the people, it's just not good. It's not healthy for them. I don't think it is. Now we have, out of 105 people, we have 12 that are hired as remote. So we're not against the idea of remote. It's just not, it's definitely not for everyone.
I agree, and I miss the office as well. And I used to be a remote worker, but then I got hired here, and the vibe in the office was so fun. And then I just got knocked out because it was COVID, and I had enough time on my hands. So I had the baby, so now I'm at home, and I'm just trying to find reasons to come to the office for no reason. And I was just at the office the last week for that. And I miss the vibes, and I used to sit next to Valentin. It's most likely that he's not going to let me sit next to him after this whole pandemic. But I was sitting next to him. It was so cool because, I could have just it's like Valentin, this is the idea, stop everything. Because I'm that type of person that was going to stop everyone from working all the time. So I think a lot of my colleagues are very appreciative because I just get an idea. And I'm like, everyone needs to stop. Pizza Thursdays, and that's it. Like something like that. So I miss the office, and I'm looking forward to going back. I vaccinated myself. I just want to go back and do some great content from the office. And it's I agree with you, and I know Valentin does too. It's we miss the office. Everyone does. It's a different dynamics, and it makes you be more focused. And I agree. I do work less than 8 hours when I'm at the office, but I love you, Valentin. I love my job, but I'm productive. Like that's what it means. You got to be productive. I think we would get bored if we stay 8 hours. Like I couldn't imagine myself stay 8 hours and doing the same stuff. I think I would probably go crazy than I am. So thank you for being here. I'm sorry that I had no line of questioning. It's just that I think you're a really, really cool person, and I enjoy getting to know you through your content and to finally see you and talk to you like this today. And thank you for coming. I had fun, and I'm sorry, Valentin, that I didn't let you talk the whole time.
No worries. I'm getting myself more patient thanks to you.
I do. Valentin has Valentin has one of those devices that when he what was that device, Valentin? When you're not stressed, when you're wasting time, when you're distracted.
When you're distracted, yeah. I've tested a device called Foci. I don't have it anymore. To buzz you when your breath pattern is changing. So that means you are switching tabs or you are whatever. And when I've used it to produce the content for this course. It was one of the hardest things to do, to produce content for, I don't know, maybe 8 hours of video recording, the final video, 8 hours. And I've used this small device. I found it amazing to see how many times throughout the day you are freaking distracted about everything you can imagine. And And
it didn't work against me. If I had that, probably would buzz all the time. Because I would be like, bird, kid, stuff.
Squirrel, shiny object.
Exactly. Yeah, I would probably be buzzing all the time if I had that. But yeah, Peter, thank you for coming. This was really, really fun. Thank you for taking the time. I hope you had fun. And yeah, man, excited to to follow your story. And
Yeah, well,
yeah,
thanks for having me. And Valentine, I said Valentino earlier, so we'll drop the O. I'll not make that mistake again.
No worries. So all the best from Bucharest, and thanks everyone
San
for listening.
Antonio.
All right, thank you.
Bye.